Welcome. Today's topic is uh, Big Data webinar by Block City. Uh, we are discussing here how we would do social profiling for credit scoring. Essentially, we would be using social data of a person or even sometimes an organization, and how do we apply big data techniques on it to find out the credit score for that person. On the screen, we have mentioned our URLs, our email IDs, and our social contacts. You can ask the question to us in the question answer tab, or you can use the hashtag BCW, which stands for Broad City Webinar, and ask question to us on Twitter. We would like to thanks Jeffrey Robinson, who is CEO of Internet Advisory Corp, for socializing our webinar on various uh, meetup groups and getting audience for our webinar. My name is Ajit Joshi, and I am introducing my colleague, Mr. Raj Dhyani, who is a speaker for this webinar. He is engineer from Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, and also has a management degree in finance. He has over 2 decades of experience in various large financial organizations in India, with a decade of them was in hedge funds and some financial accounts. I would like to, with this, hand over the console to Raj to take it up from here. Over to you, Raj.
Thank you. Hi. I'm dividing the presentation into two parts. The first one would be on the uses of social scoring. Second would be on technology part. Specifically, the first part on social scoring. We are in this particular webinar. We are looking only at credit, and the reason we are looking at credit is we have lot of credit can be used for a lot of reasons. The first primary use would be risk mitigation. You have a portfolio where people are using the credit score for giving out loans. I am speaking specifically of social profiling we use for credit rating, whereby unlike the other ratings which are used, where there are a lot of frameworks and methods and protocols which are existing, including the KMV protocols or the rating agency protocols. I'm specifically talking about these credit scoring via the social profiling by a corporate which is lending or giving a credit line to individuals. Now, this is slightly different from the normal credit rating, because the current credit rating is based on an existing transaction which is there, or it is a function of system which are already existing. That is part one. The part two is the technology part. Now, the what is called as multi-model in-memory database, which is used as an engine for processing these high volume transactions. This particular thing was started in 2010. What is in Google called as, popularly called as, multi-model in-memory processing. We have built our engine in that context, which can process these data which is there on these social profiles. We have picked up, out of those 9, we have picked up 4, and we are looking at two things right now. We are looking at making, based on the social profiling, based on the data which is available, which would be sanctioned before we can access. What it implies is, in case I am looking at a credit line, either from a e-com company or from a credit company, or from any of these companies where I'm looking at a credit line, I will be authorizing them that they can access my social network. In the sense, if I'm logged into Facebook, they can access what I have written, or what I have put on the social network. Now coming to the technology part, the database, with the engine which has been made. Now the target for processing is, we are looking at less than 200 milliseconds, which can there are multiple uses of it, where the right from the one of the uses which we have seen is the ATM fraud detection, whereby there are it's a question of milliseconds in case someone has duplicated the ATM card and has fraudulently accessed it without the actual validation which should have happened. Now this particular trigger, normally, in case, what we have seen is, in most of these cases, as a lot of finance people on the call would agree, the more you delay resolving these type of issues, the more the chances of it not getting resolved is very clear, and hence it becomes a very remote. It is a very remote chances that it will get resolved, in the, say, a month down the line. The possibility or the probability of resolving is very high in the first one day or first 1 week, and it becomes a remote with time. Similarly, there is a we can do a lot of these data which can be captured, can be used for by sensors, by click streams, which where we have one of the webinars on that, whereby the e-commerce portal people can see as to what people are looking at. What I mean by this statement is, in case I go to a portal whereby, a e-com portal whereby I'm looking at only dresses, and only dresses of a particular color. This will send a the one of the algorithms will send a trigger to the e-com people or the sales team, stating that in case you have already built up a offer in this area, this person will definitely buy that particular product. That would be the utilization of these type of using the clickstream analytics. There are multiple users, and we'll be covering those. We are looking from the credit point of view, including the e-commerce portal, looking at whether, in case this person has ordered from a remote location, when people are delivering it, can the thing be delivered on a credit line basis? Now, looking at what is there in the current credit areas, apart from the risk mitigation part of it, that means the portfolio which I have today, I will be. I would like to see that the credit default should go down. So it can be used, one, for that. Two, it can be used for, in case there someone has applied, I can look at the credit scores of these people, the social profiling, based on the social profiling. It implies that uh, it would imply that when a person is, see, all the rules for reading the more the rules for reading the data, where you have a set of portfolio where there are you need to segregate between data where you have a portfolio where there is zero default, and a portfolio where people have defaulted, or it is not an appropriate account, or it is not a regular account, where one will have to derive a rule to ensure that uh, that this particular rule we will have to put into the algorithm and ensure that we run it through and we get the data. We have to ensure that both the false positive decreases and the false negative also decreases the moment the rule set increases. What we have seen is, once the rule set increases from, say, three rule sets to start with, to multiple numbers. What we have seen is in case it goes up to 28 or something, the probability of the social profiling being used for a credit score is much better than when it is when the rules are much better. What it implies is the rules are defining the rules based on the defaults are defining on non-regular accounts are defining as to what is the profile one should be looking at. In simple terms, it implies that I look at the person who has a non-regular account, see his profiling in the on the social network, and then ensure that the same is picked up with the person who has applied. Now, if I find the profiling to be the same, I have to get it validated with a regular credit score. Now, if in case the regular credit score is down, or in case it is as far as the social score which we are keeping, which we are going to demo also, if it is less than 750, we are very clear there is some issue. So we would require then more validation on that. Now there are other applications of this particular social profiling for credit lending. One of the easiest one which we have seen in India, and I am sure it would be in other countries also, what is called as P2P lending, person to person lending, whereby there are lists of people who are lenders, and who have expressed their interest that they would like to lend. However, they would like to know the profile of the borrowers. Now, in case the actual market creator then does the profiling of the or does the credit rating of the borrowers based on their social profile, and he clubs this with the actual credit terms, you create a marketplace whereby a stream of lending which was not there earlier, like P2P is not there, say 5 years down the earlier it was never there. It was there in a non in an informal space. Right now we are speaking about we are talking about it coming into the formal space, and there actually being some rule set which will decide those things. Now this what we are why we are looking at the social profiling is because we believe that the right now the smartphones, which are only 20% of the actual mobile users, the moment they start increasing, we are expecting that we will have more data to actually then do to validate the conclusions which we have come to. Normally, to build a social profile for a particular system, we have seen that it normally would take around 3 odd months. We are not talking about the decision tree. In case we have to build a decision tree type of systems, which a large organization probably would be asking for, where what I mean by that is a decision tree where the answers to the questions would be either in a yes or a no form, and the final conclusion should be whether to lend or not to lend. Now that we would say would take much more than 5 months. Coming to the next one is to we can see the same thing being utilized by the lenders, and as far as the banking sector is concerned, there are some what is called as know your customers. Once the profile of the not regular accounts are validated with the is matched with the profile of the new borrower, his he would require some uh, more security, or his margin requirements might go up, because of which there is a so that the lender has some security. He also, the people who are not a regular account, there are these credit repair companies which has come up in various countries. What they do is, in case they approach the not regular account holders and reach out to them and explain to them that okay, in case you all do these type of things, your credit gets repaired and your credit score would jump from this number to that number to a higher number, which is eligible for borrowing.
So at this stage, I just wanted, Ajit here again, I just wanted to announce that if you have any questions, please feel free to type it here. Very quickly, I would like to run a poll which you can basically attend. Uh, so here is the poll. You could vote on it. We will take a minute to play it around. Yeah. So the current result is 60%, 50% are currently working on big data, and 25% see working uh, in next 6 months. So almost 94% of attendees here would be working on big data. So we have another 15 seconds to complete. I'm keeping it open. It looks, it is now stabilized, and 95% of the people feel here that there will be some big data project within a year. Thank you.
Now moving from there to what are the hurdles in credit, whereby 1 second. What are the hurdles in credit, and in case the person has is this particular social profiling, can one of the users, other users other than the credit, would be also for the talent search, the talent rating as from the social profiling. In case he doesn't have a good credit rating, he loses on certain critical jobs, whereby he is more responsible for that job with higher responsibility, and because of which he might get affected. So there are multiple users of social listening for credit scores. Now taking that one further is the better credit scores. The both the lenders and the borrowers, it is very clear that the business will grow and the opportunities will grow when both side, when it is a win-win for both sides. Hence, these things help in case the credit scores are low, then probably the lender will have to extend his time frame for repayments. That really would would help the both sides to ensure that we have a win-win situation. Now again, going on the technical side, the credit score, it was not that it didn't exist earlier. There are scores in India. Chrysler is one of the companies in India. Care is another one. As far as US is concerned, there is Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, which is also there in US. Now, these structured, we categorize them as the structured data, whereby this is what has been submitted in a particular format, and it has been read and tested over a period of time with multiple validations. However, on the unstructured data, this analytics has started probably 5 years back, and this is getting now validated with more and more people using it in different areas of the credit areas. Now we at Infinitum, we are looking at out of those 9 odd social networks, we are looking at 4, whereby we get an authorization from people that we can access their data. We then use we then use that in uh, these are the in-memory tables are the ones which will have we use a algorithm called as LRU, where it is a commonly used thing in hardware. We are using the same thing in the software part. It is commonly used for the for writing data on the disk. Now the analytics model, most of these would be working on stored procedures, which are the stored procedures are pre-compiled procedures where it is you don't have to compile it again, and hence the speed of processing would be there. One of the other users of this particular social thing would be also the employment part of it, where it influences the people and the profile of people. Probably one can club this with the bonuses or the increments based on, is he a long term player or not a long term player based on his social profile. Of course, there are a lot of research which needs to be done. There are a lot of data which need to come in. However, once over a period of time, we are expecting that this would gain significance.
Yeah, so Ajit here again. We would be showing you a quick demo of, it's a recorded demo of our solution. Uh, just give us a second to set it up. Today we are going to see a social scoring system where we will crawl a user's social networks to get the score of the users for his probability of paying back loans. So when customers are applying for loans to banks, the bank can actually get a credit score for the user. The page that we see here will be the bank's login page. The software will natively integrate with the bank login system. The user will log in with his user account, which is a bank user account. Integrated within the bank user accounts will be the ability for this user who is applying for a loan to authorize access to his social profiles, which will be a mandatory process for new users who do not have existing credit histories with the banks or the credit bureaus, to get for the bank to understand what is the social score that we have for them, which is equivalent of the credit score. So as we see, this user has already authorized Twitter and LinkedIn. We'll be taking a Facebook authorization for the user. The user has authorized the Facebook account successfully. It's extremely easy and a seamless process for the user to follow. The user has to do nothing more. Let's look at what a bank administrator or a manager sees. So the bank administrator will actually have to log into his user account, which is the bank user account. He will see the people who have applied for loans applications and pending loan applications here. The bank administrator can calculate the score of every user by just a click of a button. So if we see there are two users, Amit and Akshay, let's calculate the credit score for Akshay, who has authorized Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, all three accounts. When we hit the calculate, the system actually goes to the respective profiles on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, comes back with detailed analysis of what the user's behavior is, where is he working, how many years is he working, is he married, what are his habits for visiting restaurants, how much travel he does with the company, and stuff like that, to come out with an estimated score, which is equivalent to a credit score that you see in the scale of 0 to 1000. A score of 750 above is considered to be very good for processing loan applications for the user. So as we see here, Akshay has acquired a score of 820. He's working with a company for 2+ years, which is acquired based on LinkedIn. A grade 3 employee is an internal grading system which translates designations as noticed from LinkedIn into grades for employees. We have noticed from his Facebook and LinkedIn status that he's married. We're looking at Twitter. We're looking at Twitter data and check-ins across Twitter and Facebook to see that he may have mild drinking habits due to frequent visits to similar bars. And we see that he does a lot of company travel, because we're noticing images of international destinations uploaded on Facebook, but tagged individually and not as part of family. And they're too frequent, which seem to be company sponsored and correspond to some of the workplaces that he is
mentioned on his LinkedIn profile. This is the end-to-end application that can quickly allow the bank to acquire a credit score, which is based simple on social indexes, supplementary to an actual credit score acquired from a credit bureau, to speed up the process of loan applications and to a great extent even automate applications for loans based on simple and instant scoring on a social networks.
Yeah, so we have got a question on Twitter. The question is, how do you help identify false positives? How do you help identify false positives?
See again, the rule set has to be generated by the data for the algorithm to know that this is false positive. What it implies is we have to have the segregation of data between a good portfolio where there are uh, near zero non-regular accounts. A second would be a portfolio where there are non-regular accounts, and the third would be the new guys who have applied. Now we will have to ensure that this is we will have to ensure that this is derived from that rule set, and hence initially in case we have very low data set, what it means is that statistically if there are less than 30 odd data sets where there are false positives, it implies that the rules something is missing out, so we'll have to further validate it with further data. And this process where the algorithm is actually a learning algorithm, where over a period of time we are expecting that the false positive will really come down.
So there is one more question. Any particular reason why big data technologies is needed for such a solution?
Yeah, the answer for that is see, it was not that the data was not there earlier. If you see, now we are flooded with data. However, understanding and benchmarking and knowing what is there in that data is very difficult. Uh, to do all that, we would require some high speed processing, and there are certain techniques which are used. The 2010 onwards technique is multi-model, so that you have different formats which come in. You have in memory, which is with time there is a reduction in cost, and because of that, and the edge tap, where the transaction and the analytics is done on the same server, same database instance. Now, based on this, the processing speed is increased, and also in order to there we have been using a algorithm whereby what should be there in the in memory tables, even that algorithm basically it is something modified LRU algorithm, whereby what is being used is we have, what was being used in writing data on a disk, the same thing is now we are using on getting the tables which would be in the in memory data set.
Yeah. So thank you. If there are any questions, you could keep on. Yeah, there's one more question. Uh, is it just relevant to BFSI companies? So is it important for only banking finance companies, or apart from that, we actually took it in the webinar. We said that this is relevant for peer-to-peer lending sites. But apart from that, for anybody, it is relevant.
The e-commerce company also it is relevant in case they start they sell their goods based on the credit. So it becomes anyone who does business on a credit basis, it helps them also. So it is not only BFSI. BFSI is a segment where you give money and then you do a transaction based on the loan or the credit card. But for the e-commerce company, it will be they are selling goods, and they would be getting the money back over a period of time. Hence, the social profile is used for the credit rating of these companies also, the e-commerce companies. Basically, for business, wherever you are, wherever the transactions don't happen at the same time, that what it implies is I'm giving you a good or a service, and at the same time, if I'm not receiving the consideration for it, then we would definitely require a credit scoring via the social profile or any other structured method in case the unstructured is not very clear.
So there's one more question. Do you have a standard solution for credit scoring, or there will be a lot of services involved, customization involved? How will you do it?
Normally this would be relevant for what we are looking at is we are still learning, so it is relevant probably for it we are looking at that for geographical things it differs. So in India, what would be not a regular account may not be true in another country. Similarly in US, what would not be a regular account would be a regular account at some other location. So hence these are very specific to locations, to various different parameters. We are still capturing that, and we stop the moment the correctness or the probability of or the false positive nearly becomes zero, and there are no rejection because of that.
So if you have questions, you can go on asking it in the question and answer tab. Meanwhile, some of the call to actions probably would be you would have downloaded this webinar. If you have not, we would be emailing you the link, and you can download as per your convenience. If you are looking at any kind of discussion, any kind of consultation, or you want to have a demo, or you need any customized solution, we would be happy to answer that. In next slide, you'll get again our email ID and other contact points. We will be conducting trainings on our platform. They would be both online and offline, and we would be inviting you to attend it. And we'll be very happy if you could attend from that trainings. Next webinar, which will be next week, Wednesday, same time, will be on mouse stream analysis, and basically it would cover while somebody enters a site, how does the cursor move. So typically people browse the cursor, see to a particular image where they get attracted, or which point of the website they are getting attracted without even clicking. So we are trying to create a solution for that. You could attend that. Still, if you have any question, this is the time to ask. Here is all the information regarding our contacts. You can write to us and get invites for our webinars. Our website and our product website both are there. On the product site, you could go and even download a evaluation version of our software, which you could use and give us feedback. There is one more question. Yeah, just hold on. So, is it the only way to obtain a score through the interface you showed, or there is a web service API? Yeah, so we would be, so as we have told Daniel, we have a platform, and we would be providing you a service on that platform. What our experience is, everybody needs a specialized solution for in this domain, because laws are separate. The way somebody evaluates the credit is separate. So there will be some kind of customization required every time. Having said that, the platform itself is highly flexible. So we are not looking at months of delivery. We would be wanting to do it as soon as possible. If you have any specific requirement or need to discuss, you could mail us, and we'll be happy to answer your specific questions. Are there any more questions anybody wants to ask further? So thank you for attending our webinar today. Looking forward to meeting you next time. Should you have any other queries, feel free to email to us. Thank you.
Thank you.